So now we have another interesting question, which is from regulation 42 RCD. For answering here the question is how the regulation 42 is applicable. Of course, sure in the upcoming regulation this will be also modified, but I would like to invite Devdas ji to answer this particular question. You have to unmute, sir.
Yeah. This question, as you have raised it here, as I see it, it says that the regulation 42, the supply of electricity to every electrical installation. What does this mean? Now, the regulation 42, it starts with the sentence, the supply of electricity to every electrical installation other than voltage not exceeding 250 volt below 2 kilowatt, and those installations of voltage not exceeding 250 volt. A simple request to my CA colleagues, Mukul and Rathorji. We can possibly make a language little bit very simple. You see, instead of going into too much of legality in the language, let us say we can this way, that for installations having voltage not exceeding 250 volt and below 2 kilowatt, and again it is going to 250 volt, this confusion is created here. But again, if I interpret it this way, that ELCB is a necessity for the supply voltage electrical installation other than voltage not exceeding 250 volt. That means is what I would say, it is up to 250 volt and beyond 2 kilowatt. I will say 250 volt, but beyond 2 kilowatt. If it is more than 2 kilowatt, then it must have an earth leakage circuit breaker. So if this interpretation, if I go there this way, it is for the installation. Now, many a times what happens, people tend to insist on putting an ELCB on each and every installation. So supposing if in your house you are going to have a pump for lifting water, you are not required to put an ELCB as a requirement of the regulation there. It is only for the whole installation at one place, possibly at the immediately after the meter part. You have to have an MCB and ELCB, probably MCB and ELCB can be combined to make it a RCCB, and the whole thing can take care of it. That is the intention of the regulations. So I hope this is what that. Anything more, Gopaji?
Yeah, that's all, sir. That's all. Thank you. So I would like to invite our James Kuti sir also to have his opinion on this regulation.
What explained Goswami sir, I'm agreeing with that. Actually, he concluded in the way that it should be an RCBO, means MCCB with RCCB is a better choice. Yes. Otherwise, what you know, after the point of commencement to supply, the supplier is insisting to have an RCCB there. That's making confusions. If they are having 2 or more dBs, it will not be possible. So otherwise, if only 1 dB is there, it is better to have an RCCB with MCB incorporated, RCBO. Another thing I like to comment that for the whole installation, providing leakage protection is better. I think the revised draft is in that way. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. So basically, the regulation 42 is for the supply of electricity to every electrical installation. That means it is talking about the point of commencement of supply, not about every electrical apparatus or a sub panel. It is not talking about a sub panel. It is to the supply to a major installation. But we always should keep in mind that not only protection, continuity of supply is also important. Now, if RCDs of 30 milliampere are provided for each and every installation, let us say small scale industries and all, so it will keep on nuisance tripping. So which will be another headache as a result of nuisance tripping. Probably people will try to bypass it, which will lead to some other kind of problem. Anyway, I'm sure this is this part has been modified. Mr. Mukul, you have any point to answer on this?
Sir, just Swami sir has proposed and Kutti sir has well said that this proposal has been made irrespective of voltage level. And we have what we have done. We have made compulsory for a sanction load of 1 kilowatt and above to have RCD installed. So it is not irrespective of voltage level. And we have got some inputs from this discoms that if they supply in the slums and all those areas, the load is not 1 kilowatt, it's below that. So we have requested them to keep the upstream RCD so that the connected total sum of the connected load is around 1 kilowatt or so. There you can, at the upstream point, you can have that RCD. So actually we are ensuring the electrical safety at what you say at lowest level. Okay, because we are aware that in the low voltage installation most of the accidents are occurring, and this is the only way we can reduce the accidents. So that's why we are trying, we have modified we have removed that voltage level and all those things, and we are trying to make it universal. That's the thing we have done in our proposal. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. Koja sir.
Yes, Mukul sir, what I understood is CEA has proposed to reduce that threshold level from 2 kilowatt. But as we have requested earlier to the CEA that this threshold must be removed. As you said that whenever this aggregate load would be more than 1 kilowatt, then point of supply would provide one RCCB. Might not be practicable. So my request is to see that this threshold of 1 kilowatt removed, and this RCCB should be made mandatory for each and every installation, particularly residential. And sir had suggested RCDO. So I am in agreement with RCDO, but in that case it would be very much difficult to attribute the fault either to overload or earth leakage. So if the both things are kept separate, RCCB and MCB, then it would be easily identifiable for a consumer whether the fault is due to overload or whether it is due to earth leakage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for detailed elaborations of this particular regulation. In my view, personally, we have to take care of the continuity of supply and the safety as well. So RCCB for smaller installations are absolutely mandatory or okay, especially for TTE system. But once when the system becomes larger, let us say a low voltage consumer who is running an SSI unit with a 50 kilowatt load, at the point of commencement of supply, if an RCCB of 30 milliampere is put, probably it will lead to nuisance tripping. This also probably one of the point for discussion. Anyway, now we go to the question number 7.
Yes,
sir.
I just wanted to add it here, as you rightly said, because nuisance tripping, because this is not qualifying load amount is not mentioned over there, the upper limit. Now, if there is no upper limit is mentioned, then what will be the earth leakage? Is 100 milliampere even for a small SSI unit that can cause to nuisance tripping. So something need to be done as far as specifying the upper limit of the load to which this RCCB would be applicable.
Sir, I would like to add here. See, in Europe and all the other nations, what is done is, in case if the supplier goes for a TN system, in case of a TN system, the OCPD will do the job. The MCB or the fuse will do the job, provided the fault loop impedance is lower enough to disconnect the supply in case of an earth fault. Now, if you look at the IS 732, the wordings are again copied from the IEC. If the earth fault loop impedance is not enough to disconnect the supply, at the point of commencement of supply, an RCD of 500 milliampere, it is not 30 milliampere or 300, 500 milliampere has been insisted. This is what the foreign nations are doing. That means at the point of commencement of supply for larger installations, it's not 30 milliampere, but 500 milliampere if it is a TT system. Anyway, we can take up this for further deliberations.